Everybody, with it being 6:30 on Tuesday, November 27th, I will call this meeting of the Webster School Committee to order and ask that we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. I hope everybody had a fun and relaxing Thanksgiving break. I'm sure most of you probably did what I did, which was eat way too much, but that's what you're supposed to do on Thanksgiving. First item on the agenda, I will entertain a motion to approve our November 13, 2018 minutes.
So moved. Second.
There is a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Laurie, would you pull the committee, please?
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes. Next item on the agenda is the superintendent's report. Good evening, Mrs. Gogan.
Good evening, everyone. How's everyone tonight?
We're good so far.
Awesome. I have a report to give you. I'm going to start, though, by sharing the Foundation Mafre video that I've been speaking about. I want to give a shout out to the Mafre company. As you know, we've developed a partnership with them. They asked us to create an educational video about the safety program from Boston Children's Hospital at Park Avenue Elementary School. And without further ado, I'd like for you to see it.
Two fingers between his chin and the bottom of the helmet. So you can actually fit three, so you might need to tighten it up a little bit. We've had an amazing partnership so far with Fundación Mapfre and Boston Children's. As the injury prevention program coordinator, I have been able to get out into communities all over Massachusetts. Last year, we were able to reach out to 3,400 kids using the Mapfre van. Safe Play starts here. Our numbers are down for admissions in trauma over the last year, so I'd like to say that our initiatives are working, and we're just incredibly grateful for this partnership.
The Webster Public Schools services well over 60% of economically disadvantaged students. So programs with Foundation Mafre really mean a lot to us, and having the community support to help educate our students around safety. So we want to thank Mafre Foundation for their support.
When you think about the impact that this has when they bring it back to their families, so it is actually impacting an entire town as they bring that key information, that critical information that children need to know back to their families and to their siblings. So we're just very grateful.
Oh, squishy. Squishy. So what is one thing you learned today?
Well, you always want to wear a helmet so you don't get a brain injury. I learned that if you're too short to fit in the front and you get in a car accident and an airbag pops up, it might hit your face.
I'm proud to say that the Foundation Mafre has partnered with Boston Children's Hospital Injury Prevention Unit since 2015. We've had the opportunity this year to partner with our closest neighbors at our Mafre USA headquarters in Webster, Massachusetts, the Webster Public School System. The Boston Children's Hospital Injury Prevention Van travels to the Webster Public Schools and has had the ability to teach 1,400 students their Think First program all around brain safety, bike safety, and car seat safety.
Well, most people don't realize that 4 times as many children die in our country from an injured brain than from cancer every year. And no one ever thinks it will happen to them or their child, but just getting a child to wear a helmet, to wear a seatbelt, to understand what it would mean to them and their family if they did hurt their brain goes a long way to preventing those injuries. Our partnership with Mapfre has really allowed us to leave the walls of our hospital and to go into the community. We're going to community health centers throughout the city now, and we're bringing equipment with us, education with us, things right to where the people are, not expecting them to come to us. And that's been a big change for us from what we could do before we started our partnership with Mapfre.
So as you can see, that was really fun to make, and the students really stole the show. We are very grateful for MAFRE for sending Boston Children's Hospital to us, and the 1,400 students, just for clarification, it's the middle school as well as the elementary school. They did presentations before Thanksgiving break over at the middle school as well. We are continuing our partnership with them. In December, we have a group of 25 kids going to MAFRE for a leadership program. I'm pleased to share that we are in the talking phases of doing a community-wide safety school event in the spring, and we will be talking about that at our next district safety meeting with the police and the fire. So I'm pleased to share that. My report, I would also like to just give a shout out to our Bartlett Indians for their incredible game on Thanksgiving Day, and thank all of those who were brave enough to go out in the frigid weather. It was 42-0, and it was the 99th Thanksgiving Day game. I want to give a special shout out to the kids in the band and the cheerleaders who attended as well. I wasn't there personally, but I did hear from people who attended how committed the kids were, and I want to thank our fire department for letting us do some fire pit burnings so that people could warm their hands, and our bus drivers for keeping the buses going. I know we had probably, well, I've only been here 2 years, the best pep rally I've seen ever. To get ready for that important game. I want to give a shout out to Aurelius Stowicki and Tony Parento and the cheerleaders for really organizing such a fun afternoon. Every single person who was in that gymnasium was cheering for Bartlett Indians, and it was true blue, true green colors, and it was great. So thank them for doing what they did, and thank our kids. I want to give you a quick update on personnel. We have hired a part-time foreign language person. His name is Javier Arangio. We have also hired Elizabeth Isaac, who's a paraprofessional for life skills at Bartlett High School. And we have transferred Jared Slaughter from an ABA to an ABA para position from Quest. Over the last couple weeks, it feels like we've just met. We've been busy. I want to just give you a quick update. The parent-teacher conferences were, I think, very full at all the buildings. I want to give a special thanks to the families that attended. Again, I want to thank Boston Children's Hospital. They set up a table both at the middle school and at the elementary school. I want to thank the PTO of the Park Avenue. They had a nice table set up. The Boy Scouts also had a table set up. And I want to give a special shout out to our staff who put together the curriculum informational centers, in particular at the Park Ave Elementary School. It was an interactive station. Parents and students could see the new materials that we've been bringing into the district and actually see them and touch them and see what's going on. So that was a fun night. I'll give you a quick update on our district comprehensive review. The Department of Education will be coming out in March, but we are busy preparing and having weekly meetings to collect the evidence. This is a standards-based, evidence-based review, so we're knee-deep in doing that. And there will be a time during that week that they will be looking to schedule an interview with the school committee members, so I will keep you posted on that. I have some good news. We're really making some good partnerships. We recently met with U Inc., and I signed an MOU for them to come in from the outside to provide outside therapy to students who need that, and they will do third-party billing. We're in the beginning phases of setting that up. We will have a counselor at each of the schools, and we'll start out slowly with a half a day or a day at first and see what the population needs and what the requirements are. They are coming in next week to meet with all of our counselors, really to make it very crystal clear that they're not replacing our counselors in any way. This is as if kids were going to outside therapy. We're just helping parents by having that in the school. So we're very pleased about that. As you know, we'll be doing some partnerships with North Village. I did sign an MOU with them to do after-school tutoring. That will be Title I funded. That will begin in January. We are hosting, for parents that are watching, a brunch on December 10th at around 11:30, an informational brunch to let parents ask questions about the after-school tutoring and meet the teachers who will be doing the after-school tutoring. So we're very excited about that. I did have on the agenda an update on the Bay State Reading Partnership. We have been partnering with Bay State for years. Unfortunately, due to the little bit of snow that we had, we did cancel that visit. They were coming out to talk to us, so I will keep you updated on that. And also the adult education DESE site visit, which was supposed to occur, that occurred during that little bit of snow that we had as well, and that has been rescheduled to March 7th. Many of you know, if you read the Webster Times, the Opiate Task Force held a wonderful event. I really was quite pleased to be there at the Gladys E. Kelly Library. I think we had a very good turnout of people in the community, and we had 2 guest speakers. I think the night was pretty moving and very informational. We had informational tables set up, and I was happy to be a part of that. I would also like to let you know that we have come to a tentative agreement with our administrative assistants. Once they ratify that tentative agreement, we will be bringing that forth, hopefully at the next school committee meeting. I'm pleased that I will be attending the CASE conference this week. Dr. John Safier is speaking at the CAPE. The CASE conference is a Title I literacy conference, and many of the new programs that we've brought in, the STEM Scopes, the McGraw-Hill, they'll all be there. It's a great way to make connections, so I will be attending that. As you know, I feel like I'm always going so fast with my report. I should probably slow down. As you know, we are working on turnaround plans for our schools. Bartlett High School is putting together a turnaround plan, and we'll be having a TSV site visit. And that has been scheduled. We wanted to get that on the books as soon as possible. That's going to happen December 17th, 18th, and 19th. And Park Avenue will be having a follow-up MSV visit, and these are both by air. And we are tentatively looking at the last week in February. That has not been confirmed. The consultant that I'm working with lives out in California, and so she's working on scheduling that. I do want to give you an update on the Central Mass Collaborative. I had a board meeting yesterday, and I want to keep you informed that they have located 4 potential new members, and I believe I have shared with you before that the executive director would like to give the new members a 15% discount. Many of those members already belong to the collaborative, so that would essentially represent a loss. The auditors presented at yesterday's meeting the FY18 financials, which showed the collaborative in the red a bit. And as a board member, I expressed my concerns, so did the other board member. And so we are meeting again next December 12th to take a look at equity of membership fees. That's another thing that came out. We pay a lot more than Webster, even though we only have 5 students there. We pay a lot more than Worcester, pardon me. So that's just been traditionally the way it's been set up. Worcester pays a big chunk, probably like $13 million, and it services mostly Worcester students. So we're really looking at that. I'm very pleased to say that the Department of Education is at all of these meetings because this is a very big move for Webster to pull out of the collaborative and for the collaborative to continue. They are discussing the possibility of Worcester looking at taking over the collaborative, whether that's feasible or not, or looking at the implications of Worcester taking some of the programs back that they use. And we are looking at what makes financial sense for new members, such as SWEC. There's a non-member fee and a membership fee, which there's some equity, and that was not the way this original agreement was set up. So I will keep you posted on that. This room was very busy today. Started at 8 o'clock this morning. We had a consultant from the Department of Education come in to train our high school and middle school counselors on how to use the EWIS early warning. I am always so tired at this time of the day. Early warning indicator system. Thank you. And I opened it up to counselors in the surrounding areas. We had 2 counselors from Auburn join us, and Jen Appleyard came and presented. And this system actually is a way to take a look at students, whether they've passed the MCAS, what their attendance history is, whether they're economically disadvantaged or an ELL student, whether they've moved around from school to school. It presents an opportunity to slice and dice data with the purpose of using that data to create a supportive plan for an individual student. I'm pleased to say our counselors were very excited about the training, and it was pretty positive. So we're hoping that Jen will come back and keep us rolling with that. And that went from 8 to 12, and then this afternoon there was a new teacher orientation meeting, and I'm really proud to say that our principals, Robin Parmley and Michael Zajac and Janice Daniels, led the new teacher training today. And what you see on the walls is some of the work that they did today. And what they did was take apart the Department of Education evaluation system and looking at all the different standards and interpreting them, what that actually means and what that looks like. There was some really good conversations going on in this room today. I was really excited about the style of our new teacher mentor program, what's happening there. People have a voice and they're participating, and I want to thank you, Robin, for leading today. It was very good. Then I have placed in front of you some important dates coming up. One is the dodgeball tournament, which will be a fundraiser at the Webster Middle School for $2 on the 29th at 6 to 8:30. I'd like to remind everyone that on December 1st, there's a Webster tree lighting and caroling, and our students from Park Avenue and Webster Middle School, and I'm hoping the high school as well, will be there to sing. On December 7th, the PTO will hold a literacy event at the elementary school. On December 10th is our special town meeting. On December 14th and 15th, the high school will be presenting just in the nick of time at 7 p.m. And December 17th, the high school winter concert will be at 7 p.m. And December 18th, the middle school concert will be at 6:30 p.m. And I think that concludes my report.
Thank you very much. Any questions or comments from the committee for Mrs. Gogan? Let me just reiterate what you said on behalf of the committee and thank the Mapfre Foundation for their support and the professionals from Children's Hospital for coming out. And as you indicated, the kids, as usual, stole the show. I don't have little ones in the middle school or Park Avenue anymore, but I did hear a lot of positive feedback from the parents, who obviously heard it from the kids. Unintentionally, sometimes folks in education use acronyms that those of us who aren't in education really don't understand. You mentioned visits, and you mentioned MSV and TSV and AIR. What are those, or who is that?
That's an outside consultant company. When you become a turnaround school and you receive turnaround grants funds, someone has to come in and do a visit. And it's an objective visit. They look at standards, they're looking at curriculum, they're looking at long-term planning and short-term planning. And so the TSV, I actually, off the top of my head, can't tell you what it stands for, but it's the initial visit. The middle school had the TSV last year, and then the MSV, the Park Avenue has had the TSV and the MSV. The MSV will come in, they survey the staff, they look at curriculum, they'll meet with groups, you will see, we'll bring it to this committee, a finalized report, and from that report, that's the information we'll be using to create the turnaround plan. That's why we really wanted to get Bartlett High School on the books for December, which we were able to do, so that we have the results as soon as possible. And AIR is a company that's contracted out through the Department of Education. American Research Institute, and they'll come out and do it. And they've done the Park Avenue, and they've done the middle school. There's another company, but we're sticking with the AIR.
And those assessments are paid for by DESE?
They come with the turnaround grant funds.
Yeah.
Yes.
Any other questions or comments from the committee? Hearing none, thank you very much. Unless the committee objects and unless Mrs. Perangeli and Mrs. Parmley object, I know Mariah is usually very, very busy this time of year. So if you don't mind, I was just going to jump ahead to item 3 on the agenda, which is the student update. Mariah Belletti. Good evening, Mariah.
Good evening. I have a short report today. Winter athletic tryouts were this week. I believe the basketball signups were done today. Trials, I'm sorry. And then the football team, as Mrs. Gogan said, won against the biggest rival, Southbridge, 42-0. As for the clubs or other events, we have Mr. Houston, who won the turkey feather contest for pep rally, and he wore the turkey costume all throughout the pep rally. And he actually walked around in the morning and played guitar and sang to all of the classes. DECA is doing a Get Warm with DECA, not fundraiser, but I guess it's donation. And it's where students and faculty can donate brand new hats, gloves, socks, scarves, and any other warm clothing items, which we given to families in Webster. I'm not sure which church we're giving it to, but we're giving it to one of the students' church, and they're going to hand it out to families in need, so that's really nice of us to do. And then the Farm to School Committee served homemade pita chips and an avocado kale dip at lunch. And then as for upcoming events, we have the blood drive on December 6th, and then we have Park Ave's Winter Literacy Night on December 7th, and students can volunteer for that. And then we also have the Winter Wonderland on December 8th, and I know a lot of NHS members are volunteering, me including myself. And that's one of my favorite activities for the year, especially for community service, because you get to hang out with all the kids in town and do arts and crafts with them, give them hot chocolate, popcorn, and then sometimes even dress up as characters. And just they have the carriage where you can go on ride around at the lake. So it's really nice, and so I'm excited for that. And that concludes my report today. It's a short one.
That's great. By the way, we love when people say we have a short report tonight, just for future reference, but you want to include everything. Any questions or comments for Mariah? Not only have I been told that is Mr. Houston a great teacher, but my wife and I and my son and his girlfriend went to go see his band Sunday.
He has a band?
He
was good at guitar. I didn't know if it was a hobby or not. But
No, he is very, very talented. And sometimes he's a one-man acoustic guitar. This time he does have a band with 2 other gentlemen, and they're really, really good. So if you want to go, shout out to Mr. Houston and his band. If you want to, I think he has a Facebook page, but if you have a chance to go see him, he's very good.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and I did see some of the videos that Mrs. Gogan posted of the turkey.
Yeah, he went around the whole school, so a lot of classes got to see. I think all the classes, I think. But he did it all morning, so I saw it twice because he did it, I think it was second and third period, so.
The question I had is, do you think that the fact that he won the turkey contest indicates anything about his personality? Or is that just random?
I don't know, but it was funny, so I liked it.
That's good. Well, thank you very much for your report.
Thank you.
Continuing on with the superintendent's report, the next item is the business manager report. Good evening, Mrs. Perangeli.
Good evening, Mr. Hurton. Thank you. Keeping with Mariah, my report will be short tonight. Thank you, Mariah, for that setup. It's awesome. Just one thing on the agenda, end-of-year report. This is very, very early to complete the end-of-year report audit. I received a call after our last meeting. The auditor's firm had one of the areas they were going out to audit, the pipes burst, and they were looking for places to go. So they called and they said, do you mind if we come out tomorrow? So being the good sport that I am, I said, absolutely, come on out. They were scheduled to come out for the storm on Friday morning, so I made sure I was here nice and early by 8, and good thing, because I received a phone call about 8 saying, did you move? Where are you? I'm in front of Filmer. There's no building here anymore. So, oh yeah, I guess I forgot to tell you that. I just thought he had been here before because we've been using that firm for a couple of years and it was a different auditor. So gave him directions, he came on over, he spent the morning here gathering data, he took it back with him. So I'm sure we'll be in contact and finishing that up. But I don't think in my 18 years here that we've ever had an audit done in November, never mind the report being done, but I don't think we've ever had an audit done before February. So this is, it'll be exciting to get it off my plate. I'm looking forward to finishing it up. So that's a good thing. And then just a couple of housekeeping comments. Grants for FY18, you know, I've been working with the Department of Ed on that, trying to get them closed out. I've got it narrowed down to one outlier. I spent some time on the phone with them today, and I think his last words to me were, I think we might have to start all over. So I was like, great. And he said, but I have something to do tomorrow, so I'll call you on Thursday. And I said, I look forward to that. So we'll revisit this on Thursday. But I think we've got it down to one. They're struggling too with a new system and new staff, and just, it's not a very user-friendly system. And I think it's very date sensitive with the system itself. So they're struggling, just trying to wrap around all of it. But we'll get it done. I said, I just don't want any issues. And they said, honestly, we're not even looking at final reports yet for FY18. We're still trying to set up grants for FY19 and new grants that we haven't even begun that process.
Wow.
So I think we're in pretty good shape. I don't think we have to worry about that. And the second item that I just wanted to update you on is Munis. The town accountant also has rolled over the system for the year. He had closed out the books nice and early, but was leaving it open to finish up some of the audit stuff, and he has rolled over the system yesterday. So I just want to give him a shout out. That's his first rollover. That's a big deal. We're in a new year, and things are operating smoothly. So Tim's doing a great job as the town accountant, and we appreciate the working together and the collaboration. So good job, Tim. And that concludes my report.
Thank you very much. Any questions or comments from Mrs. Brandon? Hearing none, thank you. Next item on the agenda is the principal report. Robin Parmley, Park Avenue Elementary School Principal. Good evening, Mrs. Parmley.
Good evening. So we have been so busy at Park Avenue, just lots of wonderful things going on. One of the first things that we've been really concentrating on is kind of setting vision for where we need to go as a school. So two of those committees, one of them being the instructional leadership team. And so I did give you a sample of one of our very first agendas. So this particular committee is made up of all teachers and admin, and they have just done an amazing job. They are working hard. You look at the front and the back. This just kind of gives you an idea of some of the things that we're shooting to work on. The goal of the instructional leadership team is to provide guidance and leadership specifically geared to instruction, and making sure that the turnaround plan for year 2 goes into motion correctly and accurately. And I have to just give a shout out to everybody on that team who represents their grade level. I give them homework. My expectations are very high for them, and they have stepped up. They have done an amazing job. They have to be the voice, so when they leave our meeting, they have to bring that information and that confidence back and then lead their team. And sometimes it has to do with challenging tasks, and they have really just embraced that, and I just want to, give kudos to them for doing that on top of their teaching responsibilities. Also, we've had our first school advisory council. We have approximately 12 people, so we have, yes, it's a wonderful team. We have parents, we have community members, we have teachers, and IAs as part of this. So we have a lot ahead of us. Our big focus now is looking at our school improvement plan. So we did meet as an ILT. We had our 6th meeting today, our instructional team, and we looked at our school improvement plan. It's all in place. We've made any last-minute revisions, and now I will present that to the School Advisory Council and let them also have voice in it as we set, real vision for where we need to go. And within that plan, which I know I will be presenting to you at a future date, it interweaves all of the pieces of the year 2 turnaround plan. It's very, how do I say it? It's a plan that's very meaty. There's a lot of work ahead of us, but we are ready. We've already started, and I am confident that we will be able to absolutely fulfill it and do a great job. So we're on a roll. And let's see, moving forward, we've had Looney Math out. They're coming back out again tomorrow, and they will be providing coaching again to our classrooms. They just came out and did an entire session within the classrooms where they modeled accountable talk and what it means to be able to have that academic discourse in the classroom. So the children are talking, and that they're doing a lot of what you call that academic sweat. So it's less teacher voice, more student voice. And so more and more we're hoping to see that go into place. They're providing a lot of support to our teachers, so we're very thankful that they're able to come in, put eyes on, and help us to get where we need to be. Let's see, we had wonderful turnout for parent-teacher conferences. Again, the curriculum review table was outstanding. That whole academic interventionist and our reading specialist team did a phenomenal job. And then we have our Kids of Character. So this month is gratitude. So gratitude is living with a thankful heart in what we say and what we do. So they're putting it into action. We've started our food drive that's going to go, I believe, until December 5th. So it's really nice. If you stop in, and I invite all of you to stop in, ask the students to say their character pledge. Ask them what the character trait is. They're really owning it. And it was exciting to see them say that up on the video that, and they didn't know they were going to do that. We kind of just asked them and they went with it. So my boys and girls, extremely proud of them. I see a lot of great things happening at Park Avenue. I see the behaviors dwindling. The boys and girls are really all about respect and responsibility and trying to be kids of integrity, and I see it happening throughout the building, walking through the building, how they treat each other with compassion. So that's going to be a focal point for us to continue with that and to continue to address any of the needs that need to be worked on. But other than that, and we invite everybody to the tree lighting ceremony. The boys and girls will be out there singing. I'll be leading. So it's going to be a good night. So come on out.
Thank you very much. Any questions or comments from Mrs. Parmley?
Just
Yes.
one question, Mr. Chairman. Do we have a concert coming up at Park Avenue?
Not for December. Mrs. House,
Yep.
Valerie, yep. She has decided to go with a January concert.
Okay.
So that's coming up very soon. We don't have the dates yet. I'm waiting to hear back from her.
Sounds good.
But we're going to try to get in as many as we can get at that tree lighting ceremony.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Thanks.
So since you brought the topic of math up, I believe we're in year 2 of a brand new reading program and year 1 of a brand new math program. Now, I've never taught a minute in my life, but I can only imagine that that's a lot of change for teachers. I think it was necessary, and I think it's very positive. As the building leader for the last 4 or 5 months, how do you think that, especially that new math program, is going, the introduction of that, and hopefully the positive effect that might be having with regards to the level of instruction for the kids?
Right. I think initially it was stressful for staff because it was a new program, and change is always tough for anybody. However, there's been so much support provided from central office, from our directors, from the Ready Math consultants, from the iReady team, and now Looney Math consultants. So I feel like we've been able to support our teachers, and that's not going to stop. That's going to be in place for the entire year. I believe that as the year goes on, teachers will be able to, I think, be able to relax a little bit with it. Right now, they're still trying to learn it, and they're learning it with the students. Also taking into account that when you think of grades 3 and 4, what the instruction that they're delivering, it's the understanding that the students have had this in place for several years. So this first initial year is going to probably be kind of that breakthrough year, but then each year that foundation is going to be stronger and it will have been sustained longer. So the students going into grade 3 and 4, those are the ones right now that have the most as far as catch-up time. It has a tremendous, it's rated one of the top in the nation. It is just packed full of all the pieces that we need to improve upon, such as academic discourse, that language modeling, giving children a chance to really have that productive struggle, and so that we don't over help them or over scaffold. We are asking them to show us some stamina. And so for teachers and children, that's going to be something new as far as to the level that we need to take it. I think it's an excellent program, but I think our teachers, each month they're getting more and more comfortable with it. But right now they need a lot of support. They're in their second year of Wonders. they feel much more comfortable with it now because they did get the support they needed. And I know that they're confident that in time they're going to feel the same way about the new program. The iReady piece is phenomenal. It is a digital program, so it creates what we call an instructional pathway, and it customizes for students. So as they're on that, it actually adjusts. So if they're struggling, it will begin to present problems to them that they can have success with, and then it begins to ramp it up. If they are doing extremely well, it will continue to bring that challenge up, I think all the way up to the 8th grade level. So it provides a very wide range of information, and then it brings immediate reports to teachers and gives them solid live data so that we're able to then take that, analyze it, and really drive our instruction, kind of a laser focus. So I'm excited about the results, where we're going to be this time next year.
That iReady must be really beneficial because obviously in the high school, you naturally, to a certain extent, have different levels broken out based on your class. You have college, honors, AP. As a parent, I've struggled with teachers that think those in the AP may not still need differentiation, but that's a discussion that I've had for years. But as an elementary school teacher, you've got 25 to 30 kids in front of you, and you have the wide range of abilities, backgrounds, learning capabilities. So the ability for the teacher to look at live data and for the student to be able to work, I'm guessing independently,
Yes.
based on exactly where they're at, that must be very powerful for all the teachers.
It is, and I agree. Yes, absolutely.
Well, thank you very much. Again, I continue to get a lot of positive feedback about what you have brought to the building. And again, I know it's a team effort.
Team effort, yes.
We're very, from my perspective, very lucky to have you in our district, so thank you.
Oh, well, thank you.
Next item on the agenda is old business FY20 budget update. Mrs. Perangeli.
Thank you. We are continuing to work on our FY20 budget. We had a whole group meeting with principal, superintendent, and took a real look at the budget as a whole, going through, double-checking staff, talking about building needs, and then taking a look at the system as a whole. We have another meeting coming up next week, and we will go through the same process, digging a little deeper now that we've seen the initial, looking at priorities and prioritizing student needs first, looking at curriculum and digging in and prioritizing and coming up with something that we can put forward to school committee in January. But I'm pleased at the progress we're making, and I feel like we're going to have a good, solid budget when we get there. I don't know if you want to add anything.
No, I think we're moving along. I think we're taking the same philosophy that we took last year, and I think it's really important for us as a team, a large district team, to take a systems approach and really look at where our needs are and separate needs and wants, and I think we are doing that. And it's budget season is a good, healthy discussion. It helps us with planning. The budget is shows where we prioritize our needs. And being a district that needs to turn things around, we've really been focusing on curriculum and instructional practices and providing the support to teachers and making sure that we're taking a deeper look at our programming is really important. Mm-hmm. So I think we're in the midst of those conversations, especially around special education. What do our programs really look like?
I agree.
Yeah.
Taking a deep look at the programs and revisiting what's working, what's not working, how can we improve, and what can we do within? What can we do within our current budget? How can we reformat things to be successful? So we're having those conversations, which I think is very productive.
Thinking out of the box.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. Any questions or comments for Mrs. Perangeli? Hearing none, moving on to new business. The first item under new business is acceptance of backpack donation from WB Mason. Mrs. Gogan.
We started a food bank at the middle school and the high school, and so we were looking for backpacks, sort of inconspicuous backpacks that children could fill with food for the weekend. And WB Mason was grateful. They gave us quite a bit of backpacks.
We need to have a dollar amount attached to this or not?
No, it was just 25 backpacks.
25, okay.
Yep, that they donated.
And actually, that's a great idea because there's no stigma attached to a student walking out of the building with a backpack, not knowing what's inside of it.
Yep.
Any questions or comments from the committee? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion to accept the donation from WB Mason of 25 backpacks, and of course, on behalf of the entire committee, thank them for their generosity.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Laurie, would you poll the committee, please?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Next item on the agenda is acceptance of drawstring, I assume backpacks from MapFree.
We would like to accept the backpacks that Mafre gave us as well. We use those, but they say Mafre on them, but we fill those first, and then they go into the bigger backpacks. So we're hopefully using the students in the life skills program to fill the backpacks, you know, have them pre-made, so then they get picked up and put into a bigger backpack. So they gave us a box of Mafre drawstring backpacks.
25 as well, or do we
Yeah.
not?
I don't know what the exact number was. It was,
Any questions or comments from the committee? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion to accept the drawstring backpacks from MapFree. And again, on behalf of the committee, thank them for their generosity.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Laurie, would you poll the committee, please?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Next item on the agenda is review transfer signing of bills, payroll, and vouchers. We do have a transfer request from the middle school. So I will entertain a motion to transfer $1,450.94 from the middle school student activity savings account to the middle school student activity checking account.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Laurie, would you poll the committee, please?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. That's the way we got it. I don't know how to go look to the. It's so funny. We didn't even pick up on these things. It's just. Oh, totally. Every meeting. Oh, yeah.
She just wants to make sure he's really here.
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Shenevert,
I would like make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
there's a motion and a second. Hearing no discussion. Laurie, would you poll the committee, please?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, meeting adjourned. Hope everyone has a wonderful couple weeks.